Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater for the 25th of May, 2018. Today is the 41st anniversary of Star Wars, and we got to see the new Solo movie came out last night. I did see it. My review is up. It's a long one, but I did enjoy the movie. We will be talking about that, I'm sure, later on. I do plan on putting together a Solo discussion stream with people who want to come in and talk about it, whether they liked it, whether they didn't like it, and just have a lot of fun discussing. I think the movie's worthwhile. Sorry for the few minute delay today. Had some stories lined up, and it's like there's not a lot going on. As weird as it seems, there's not a lot going on in terms of interesting stuff to talk about in regards to the damn news. That's unfortunately not so much happening there. But let me just take care of one thing and quickly tweet this out because I am a lazy ass who forgot to do that. Mostly because I overslept my alarm and just woke up. So I'm like, I gotta get on stream. Son of a bitch. So there's that. All right, talking about movies over on 3 Buck Theater. Come watch live. If I could type. Get that information out there. All right. One moment. I know. It's Friday. It's Friday. Okay. Cool beans. We're good to go on that one there. We are good to go on that one. All right. So, wait, there's another school shooting? Oh, Jesus. Oh my God. Yeah. That's really sad about Total Biscuit from yesterday. That really bothered me. That really sucked. That really was horrible. All right, we'll talk about that. We'll definitely jump into stuff here in a minute. Let me just, because I didn't tweet it out earlier, so I'll give people a few minutes to get on in here. But yeah, I've been looking around. It's so funny. Looking at my review of Solo, I have more dislikes than I have likes, which is pretty funny to me, actually. Simply because, people, I don't think people saw the movie, gave it a dislike. I think people just disliked it because I said it was favorable, how I view it. Mostly because I think it's such a weird, profitable thing right now in regards to, shitting on the movie. I happened to catch a stream yesterday from Geeks and Gamers where he was just like playing to the echo chamber, completely playing to the echo chamber. And people, they're throwing money at him. I'm thinking like $20, $50 super chats. And I'm like, wow, that was crazy to me. But then again, that's where we are in terms of certain things on YouTube. Is you can't like stuff. Yeah, because God forbid you treat something fairly. But just, someone like a production assistant at Lucasfilm made a comment once, burned the whole goddamn thing down. That's what it feels like. That's what... That's what it feels like. I'm saying it's okay to not like the movie, but it's like, go see the movie first. You know what I mean? And a lot of the people that were leading up to this film didn't even want to go see the movie. They were just looking at some of the hyperbole that was coming out. Now, I will fully admit that I did probably not help in that regard to an extent. Every time there was a drama or there was a problem, I did talk about it, but my complaint's always been with Kathleen Kennedy and how they've run it. But I still wanted to view the product independently. And the thing is, the last Solo is not The Last Jedi by a fucking mile. It's not The Last Jedi, so that's a good thing that it's not The Last Jedi, because if it was, I think it'd be handled a lot worse. So there's that. Yeah, exactly, Max. How dare I? How dare I like Solo? It was a serviceable movie. It worked for what they were trying to do with it. And if they do a sequel, which I'm assuming they're going to do 2 more, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm pretty sure we're going to get a lot more out of it. So I'm cool with that. So, but yeah, there was, news broke yesterday too of the Boba Fett thing, which we'll talk about. But like after I was done recording for the day, I'm like, Boba Fett. So... we'll have to wait and see exactly how things are going here. Yeah. Oh yeah, Joshua, you enjoyed it? Yeah, so did I, man. Solo way better than Last Jedi. Yeah, way better than Last Jedi, because it was It was straightforward. That's the whole thing. It was straightforward. And it wasn't like there was no 20-minute segment where, hey, let's go to a casino planet, you know, like let's go free some animals. Cause like our friends are in danger, but like we have to do this other thing first, right? Like let's totally go do that. Like, oh my God. Still, no one will ever be able to convince me that Canto Bight was a good scene. Like next time I watch Last Jedi, and I'll end up having to watch it again, I'm just gonna fast forward through that shit. Like fast forward. But I Solo, directed by Rian Johnson. The gold dice gave him powers that would have him complete the Kessel Run with Force powers. Yeah, pretty much. So how can you sit there and say Solo was bad because it had no Jabba, no Fett? That like those are coming. The dice were the setup for the for Last Jedi. They make more sense now having seen it. And honestly, like what the idea there was, you know, with the dice. But I really enjoyed Solo. I thought it was a solid film. I liked you know, Donald Glover as Lando. I liked Alden Ehrenreich as Han. Chewie is Chewie, because it's the same guy who played Chewie in Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, and everything else. And I liked Emilia Clarke as Kira, and I liked Paul Bettany as Dryzen, and you know, it was good. My only complaint is I just don't see the movie. I recommend this. Don't see the movie in 3D. That's my only thing. It's not a 3D film. We saw it in 3D last night. Asked my girlfriend this morning. I'm like, hey, what did you think? Did you think it was like 3D worthy? And she's all like, no. Like, no, it's just not. It's not. So all right, let's let's jump into this here, because there is some stuff to cover today. There's not a lot of news today, unfortunately. Nothing that would be I don't know, like I was looking around and I'm like, oh, this seems kind of cool, and then no, nothing. It's just kind of lame. But okay, where am I at here? So let's see. A film that Grace Randolph didn't like. Yeah, I haven't watched her review of it yet. We'll I'm the first review that you've seen that liked it. Well, that's fine. I'm fine with that. Midnight's Edge after dark. Those, I love those guys, but they hate everything. Like, we talk about movies all the time, and they don't like anything that we talk, you know. They just don't like it. So I just, again, there's this weird thing now where it's like going into a movie with the pretense to not like it is what we're seeing a lot of. And I never do that. I never go into a movie with the pretense not to like it. I go into every movie with the hopes that I enjoy it. And then I look for things that are entertaining. And maybe it has everything to do with the fact that I worked in Hollywood. I've worked on movies. You know, I've written and directed stuff before. And so, like, I understand the process that goes into it. So I always look for something that's entertaining, because a lot of people put a lot of hard work into this stuff. But so many people now are just negative about movies. And these are people who talk about movies, and they're just negative about them all the time. And I'm like, I can't get into that anymore. I just can't do it, because I don't view it as even valid criticism in some cases anymore. It's just like, you're just mad about it. Then okay. That's just, I'd rather talk about it from the perspective of enjoying what I'm talking about, versus like, oh, well, they're doing this thing. Well, that's going to be a thing. It's just, I don't know. It's not directed to anyone in particular, but I just see that a lot, and not for me. So no, I'm talking about other stuff too. You should see Solo in theaters. Just don't see it in 3D. Cynicism is hurting the film industry. I completely agree. And the cynicism we'll have to talk about that one time too. But all right, let's get into this, because we're already kind of like going over time here today. All right. So first up, we've got Netflix apparently has passed Disney to become the world's most valuable media company. Not too sure how much of this I actually believe, but apparently it at least was real. It says Netflix is the most valuable media company on the globe after it surpassed Disney's total valuation thanks to boosting stocks to record highs yesterday. It came as no surprise considering that the market people have been closely following the trend. Nevertheless, it's still welcome development for Reed Hastings and his team over at the Los Gatos-based entertainment company. Well, Netflix, I mean, considering the fact that 100 million plus users, all this new content they put out all the time, the $8 billion a year that they're spending this year in content, people like Netflix. People now enjoy it probably more than even going to the theaters. Going to the movies now has to be an event. It's one of the reasons why these particular films, like Avengers and Solo and Deadpool, like they have to be somewhat of an event to get people to go a lot of times, at least in record numbers. And as a result of that, people turn to Netflix. So you can see why their stock would go up. You can see why their thing would go. So it says here, despite the snafu at Cannes 2018, which prohibited Netflix original movies to participate in the competition due to the ruling that requires them to be rolled out in French cinemas before they can be acknowledged as participants, Netflix continues to grow around the world, currently servicing 125 million paying subscribers as of April. The streaming company is in more than 190 countries. For the first quarter in 2018, the company had posted $3.7 billion in revenue and $290 million in net income, an impressive 63% increase from the previous year. So they're going up, and the more countries get them, and the more people adopt Netflix, and the more people become cord cutters, the more they're going to make in the long run, and that's what their overall strategy is. But now it says a report from Variety reveals that Netflix has officially passed Disney to become the world's most valuable media company for the first time. The streaming platform closed up 1.3% to $349, or about $349.29 per share, with a market cap of about $161 billion, while Disney's stock fell 0.07% or 0.7%, closing at $102 a share, resulting in $152 billion market cap. Just a day prior, Netflix surpassed Comcast's market cap. So here's my question: with Netflix doing as well as it's doing, are they going to put in a bid for Fox? Are they going to come out and be like, "Yo, dog, we'll offer you more money in shares"? That's a thing, right? That's a thing. That's a big one. Now, ultimately, though, I think according to Variety here, because they kind of they're the ones that reported on it, I do think things are a little bit different. Because there was an update here on Variety saying for just a few hours on Thursday, Netflix was the world's most valuable media company after its stock rallied again Thursday to record highs, pushing the video streaming leader's market capitalization against Giant for the first time. So, and then by the end of the day, Disney shares had recovered enough to nudge its market cap ahead of Netflix. So for a couple hours, Netflix was valued higher than Disney, but take a look here. You've got a share for Netflix at $349.29 a share, and then Disney is $102 per share. So in the long run, if these numbers maintain, Disney is going to end up losing out to Netflix. So this is I don't think it's an interesting thing right now, but Netflix, if they continue going down the path, will probably end up taking over Disney in that regard. But then Disney, has got the parks and they've got the properties, and they're always going to be fine. These companies aren't hurting for money. It's very interesting interesting conversation in my opinion about it. But it's good to see. I'm glad to see Netflix is taking on the big guys. Netflix to me has always been the type of company that I feel is, why did they get created? They got created because Reed Hastings hated late fees on movies, right? And started off as a rental service, ended up turning into a content creation company and working with big name talent to produce big budgeted content. Bright, that came out last year, was a $90 million feature. Martin Scorsese's Kill the Irishman is a $122 million feature. Michael Bay is doing a movie for Netflix. It's valued over $120 million in terms of its production budget. This is taking on the big dogs. This is taking on the studio system, and it's going to do some stuff to probably, revitalize to an extent Hollywood, at least I hope, because it's going to force them to take a look at where things are at, and how to be profitable again. And part of this has to come with the fact that, there's so much money that's being spent that doesn't go anywhere, and everything's a loss. And that could just be because of taxes or other kind of financial reasons. But I'm glad to see Netflix kind of stick it to the system. And it's a system that I think needs to definitely be, definitely be What's the word I want to use here? Um, Man, it's good. I don't know. I like seeing the underdog. I like seeing the underdog, and that's what I'm happy to see. So, all right, let's jump over here. This is yesterday's big news. This happened after I was recording. Star Wars Boba Fett movie in the works with James Mangold. This news to me is awesome. It's amazing. I'm excited for this one. And no, I'm not a Disney paid shill or anything like that. I'm clearly just a fan of the franchise. But I've always wanted to see a Boba Fett movie because I want the character explored. Unlike some people, John Campea, that doesn't want to see a Fett movie because he doesn't want the mystique of the background explored. Like, I don't know, man. Like, you really know where to go but up with Boba Fett. So why not give us something? I mean, the Boba Fett video game was pretty cool. There's supposed to be like the 1313. I think that was dealing with bounty hunters, or that was going to be it. Maybe Fett was involved. But, of course, there's the famous, the fact that this movie's been on the back burner now for a couple years. I'm glad to see making its way back out. So it says the hunt is on. James Mangold is writing and will direct a Star Wars standalone movie based on Boba Fett, the feared bounty hunter and fan favorite character. The reveal comes as Disney and Lucasfilm prepare for the release of Star Wars a solo Star Wars story. It says here Lucasfilm is developing a slew of characters or movies on slew of characters like Obi-Wan Kenobi and everything else. It also says here that it was rumored that Simon Kinberg, the writer-producer behind the X-Men franchise and films such as The Martian, is also working on the Boba Fett movie. While Lucasfilm and Disney won't make any official confirmation, sources say that Mangold will co-write the script with Kinberg, who will also produce the film. Kinberg and Mangold are close, having worked on Logan, the X-Men spinoff that earned high praise last year. Earned high praise. How about earned a lot of money and was nominated for an Oscar? Like, whoever wrote this article, clearly, who wrote this article here, it doesn't. Oh, Boris Kit doesn't understand the significance of Logan being nominated for an Oscar. No, Logan was nominated for best adapted screenplay. It should have gotten a best picture nod, in my opinion. Logan was just so well made, so well done. Mangold is a fantastic director. The Wolverine from 2013 I thought was excellent as well. And I really loved that film, and I loved Logan. And I've liked Mangold. He did Night and Day with Tom Cruise, which is actually a surprisingly fun movie. Now, the thing with this, though, so a Boba Fett movie, watching the Solo film last night, you can see kind of what they're going to do with this. Clearly what's going to happen is this is going to run parallel, I think, to the Solo sequel. And that kind of makes sense in terms of what Disney or what Lucasfilm, I think, wants to do here. Lucasfilm realizes that they're running out of steam on the episodes, right? They need to end episode 9 and then move forward. By that, if they want to move to Han Solo, well, Han Solo, and I don't want to spoil anything, but there's ties to Star Wars Rebels, right? In terms of the timing of when things are. And so right around that time, at least. So it's what we're seeing is like the birth of I want to say like the birth of that pushback against the Empire. And so as a result of that, there's going to be lots of crime, and there's going to be bounty hunters are going to be needed. And so having Solo do what he's going to do and then have him meet Boba Fett and then maybe they interact, right? Because just imagine in the Boba Fett movie if Solo shows up, or, in the next Solo movie, Fett shows up, which I have a feeling that's going to happen. But if like he runs afoul, because as far as we could tell, Fett in Solo, like I always kind of felt they had a history. I always felt there was a history there. I never read a lot of the EU stuff, so I don't know if they touched upon it at all. But I always kind of got that vibe from watching Empire that like that's how Fett was able to figure out Solo. Like he knew Solo's tricks, and then going back and watching the special edition of Star Wars: A New Hope and seeing Fett in Mos Eisley Spaceport. When Jabba's there, like, you go, oh, like, okay, maybe, like clearly they have to know who each other are, right? Even if it's like tangentially, they have to know who each other are. So at that point in time, they're going to go and like have a crossover. And I don't think they're going to be friends, but I could see them being like maybe rivals, maybe, he never trusted Solo, but he kind of knows how he thinks. Like, I think that's how this whole thing's going to play out. So I'm hoping, I'm really hoping that there's going to be a big thing with that, because that to me feels like the logical course of action, right? Because I have a feeling that where Disney's going to go next is they're going to go prequels. I really feel that's what's gonna happen. I think they're gonna go prequels, I should say prequel to A New Hope, like the birth of the rebellion leading into that, and then leading in to Rogue One, maybe, because Rogue One kind of set the stage, but I think they're going to tell us all the stories leading up to Rogue One, which some people may not like because they don't want to be stuck in that particular episodic saga, or like the stories that are kind of running parallel to the episodes. But at the same time, I can also see it happening, and if done well, it would tie into this greater, Empire saga sort of thing, and that could work out well. And I may be the only one who wants that, but that's fine with me because I can only speak for me. Okay, this one here. This is pretty cool. Daniel Craig is officially back for Bond 25. Danny Boyle is directing. These are things I think we already kind of knew. Clearly with Daniel Craig being back as Bond one more time, and then Danny Boyle directing, that's the new one. So it says it's finally officially official. Daniel Craig is back for a 5th time to play Bond in Bond 25, and Danny Boyle is set to direct. If that wasn't enough, it's also been announced that the long-awaited movie will begin filming in December. Craig, who previously said that he'd rather slit his wrists and play the iconic character again, teased that he was on board for Bond 25 in a recent red carpet interview. However, when asked about Boyle directing, he said, "We'll see." The official James Bond Twitter account confirmed that Danny Boyle will direct Bond 25 with a script written by John Hodge. I don't know who that is. Additionally, this is the first real confirmation that Daniel Craig is on board. It looks like Craig is set to earn a boatload of cash for signing on to play Bond for a 5th time, which would more than likely prevent the actor from taking his own life. Very true. So here's the thing. What we got here is production on Bond 25 will begin December 3rd, while MGM will partner with Universal Pictures to release the film worldwide. It has been previously reported that MGM is trying to sell off the Bond franchise. The aforementioned reports have proven to be false, especially the ones indicating that MGM was using the Bond franchise to make the sale happen. Sony was the rumored top bidder, but it appears that the power of Daniel Craig and Danny Boyle may have made MGM decide to stick with Bond 25, which is probably the best for all parties involved. Which is very true. And that's the thing, is Sony produced Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, and Spectre. And the budget on Spectre was insane, and it should never have been that high, but it was. And they ended up really kind of dropping the ball on it, I think. Spectre was good, but it wasn't as good as, like, as Skyfall. It tried a little bit too hard. It went a little bit too big. I think it was trying to wrap everything up in a nice, neat little package. So coming back for another Bond film, to me, it does. I don't think we really need it. I'm okay with it because I love Craig as Bond, but at the same time, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. And then here's what it says, just for the actual tweet. We've been expecting you, Bond 25, Daniel Craig's 5th outing as 007, directed by Danny Boyle from an original screenplay by John Hodge. Production is set to begin December 3rd, 2018, and we won't see the movie then and probably until 2020. Depending on how big these things are, probably not until about 2020. I mean, guaranteed not. I mean, maybe Christmas 2019, but do they really want to push Christmas 2019? Wonder Woman 2, Star Wars Episode 9. They're not going to want to put a Bond movie out, and they're not going to want to rush through a Bond movie. And that is unless they're going to start shooting it in December of this year, and then they're going to have it out by maybe November. I mean, that could happen. That could definitely happen, depending on what they plan on doing with it. But I really hope. Here's what I want. I love Casino Royale for its take. I thought Martin Campbell did a great job in designing the origins of Bond. And weird to think that movie is 12 years old. It's super weird to think that. And then you've got Quantum of Solace, which I feel arguably is it's like pairing. You have to watch it back to back with Casino as like one movie going experience, and it's fantastic. Skyfall was very, very, very good. Spectre was kind of like, again, wrapping everything up. So, I mean, I could go either way on this one, to be honest with you. I'm definitely going to watch it. One more outing as Bond, but I just also, given the ending of Spectre, that's the thing, is I'm still going to be hung up on that. Because I look at it, I'm just like, no, but it was like everything was wrapped up. Everything was wrapped up. We understood what Blofeld was doing. He created a veritable house, like a literal house of horrors for Bond to like face his fears and confront that he could never keep women alive in his life. And it's like, that's pretty straightforward at the end of that movie. You know where things are. So we'll have to wait and see, but I'm glad he's back, and I hope that the whole thing actually turns out to be pretty good. And finally today, guys, what we got here is George R.R. Martin apparently has landed a deal with Warner Brothers Animation in developing Ice Dragon. And I love here laughing at those hoping to ever read The Winds of Winter. And if you know the situation with Game of Thrones right now, you know what's going on with that one. Now it says George R. R. Martin, the author of the acclaimed Song of Ice and Fire fantasy novels, of which Game of Thrones is based, has seemingly found every excuse not to finish the next novel in the series and has instead been attaching himself to a variety of entertainment projects that pull him away from his writing desk. Now we can add a new one to the pile. A report says that Martin is producing an animated movie adaptation of his children's novel, The Ice Dragon, for Warner Brothers Animation. Now, that's going to be interesting because it says here that Deadline reports that Martin is going into animation for the first time, producing an animated version of the story with Warner Brothers Animation, the same company that made films like Lego Movie, Teen Titans Go, or Teen Titans Go to the Movie, and The Storks. Although Teen Titans Go to the Movies, isn't that like really just hammered by a lot of people? And who the hell wants to see The Storks? But here's the synopsis of The Ice Dragon. It says, in the world of A Song on Ice and Fire, the Ice Dragon was a creature of legend and fear, for no man had ever tamed one. When it flew overhead, it left in its wake the desolate cold and frozen land. But Adara was not afraid, for Adara was a winter child, born during the worst freeze that anyone, even the old ones, could remember. Adara could not remember the first time she had seen the Ice Dragon. It seemed that it had always been in her life, glimpsed from afar as she played in the frigid snow long after the other children had fled the cold. In her 4th year, she touched it. In her 5th year, she rode upon its broad, chilled back for the first time. Then in her 7th year, on a calm summer day, fiery dragons from the north swooped down upon peaceful farm that was Adara's home, and only a winter child and an ice dragon who loved her could save the world from utter destruction. Yeah, it's a kid's story. It feels like Aragorn, but like not shitty. Well, Aragorn wasn't really a bad book. It was a terrible film, but the book was written by a 15-year-old whose parents owned a publishing company, and they published the book. So it's, there's that. So it takes place in Westeros, and it's going to be an animated Game of Thrones movie. So here's my question: will any characters from Game of Thrones make an appearance? Or any reference characters? I'm assuming this takes place long ago, long before, because the dragons were all dead by the time we got to like the beginning of Game of Thrones. So probably not that, but they're going to probably talk a lot about maybe it's going to show the construction of the wall. Maybe it's going to show something, referencing our own society, I guess. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with this. It looks pretty interesting. But Martin needs to get off his ass and actually finished Winds of Winter. But I have a feeling we're going to see it probably around the time that that Game of Thrones finishes up sometime next year. But in the meantime, I do hope we get a bit more of this. I'd love to see Warner Animation tackle fantasy. I do think we need more fantasy-based animated films. I think that would be really cool because I think we just need to see more of those, like How to Train Your Dragon. That kind of that worked for DreamWorks. And I'd like to see what's going to happen with this one here. So hopefully it will be pretty good, and it probably won't be coming out until at least 2021 if they haven't already. I would say probably not until 2021. So all right, guys, that wraps up the stories for today. Like I said, there's not much. There's really not much. I do apologize for that. I mean, well, nothing I can do about it. But so there's that. But that's it. So we got a little bit of time if you guys want to ask some questions or you guys want to talk about some stuff. Okay, hold on. Okay, so I did see a thing. What's going on with John Campea I caught that real quick. That actually distracted me. What happened with Campea being paid Disney? What's going on? Let me Google this. Paid by Disney? What's going on with this? Okay, people say he condescendingly shills for Disney. People being, I don't know. A lot of people have been claiming that, okay, hold on. Yeah, you got to fill me in on this one here. Do I think that Solo will beat Rogue One's opening weekend? I don't. And the reason why I say that's just because of Avengers still doing really well and Deadpool still doing really well. So that's going to be that. What if? Yeah, you can't sit there and make those claims, Gabriel, about Campea. How do I think they're going to pull off Boba's voice? Probably the same way they did it in the original films. Very brief. So I haven't watched The Midnight's Edge. Are we talking like Midnight? Are we talking Midnight's Edge, the main channel, or Midnight's Edge, the After Dark? Because if it's Midnight's Edge, Andre did not grow up with Star Wars. So to him, it's like going to China. How it's not doing well in China has to do with the fact that Chinese audiences didn't grow up with it. So a lot of the nostalgia is kind of wasted on them. So there's that. But yeah. Let's see. What flashback are you talking about? Oh, main channel. Yeah, Andre didn't grow up with it. He made that clear. I was on the round table for The Last Jedi with them. And yeah, he didn't grow up with it at all. So I wouldn't expect him to like it. I wouldn't. He's a Star Trek guy. He's not a Star Wars guy. And he admits that. So it's kind of like that's where he's at in terms of his take on that shit. How do I hold a straight face on Gabriel's comment? I don't know, man. I want evidence. I want evidence of this John Campea getting paid money shit, because I want to see that. I want to know what's going on with that shit. Let's see here. George R. R. Martin is a troll who perpetually toys with fans for enjoyment at this point. Probably. He's made enough money. Here's the thing. If his story gets completed with HBO show, then he doesn't have to finish it. He can just reference that the rest of his life. Like, yeah, man, I mean, like, I meant to finish it, but I didn't. So, like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, sucker? What are you gonna do? The answer is like nothing. You know, this is really funny. Oh, the one of Rey being left behind. Yeah, that was just like, I know. That was just something in her mind. I don't know. Maybe they sold her away. I got no idea. So yeah, I don't think Solo's gonna outdo Rogue One, but then again, here's the thing. A lot of people I've talked to, and this is people in my personal life, I posted on Facebook that Solo was coming out. They were like, oh shit, you know, like, what the hell? They didn't know it was coming. They had no idea. So I think Disney held back on the marketing a little bit on this one. And it might go along with the reports we saw months ago about how they'd already kind of written the film off and everything else. But because, I mean, the actors were everywhere. The actors were promoting the film, but I didn't see a lot of advertisements for it. And maybe a lot of other people didn't either, and that could have been part of the problem. Natalie Dormer or Emilia Clarke? Emilia Clarke. It's look at the Forbes article. Oh, it's Scott Mendelson talking again. Yeah, I don't really take anything Scott Mendelson says ever. I don't take anything he says with any kind of grain of salt. You can't really call, if the movie pulls in $140 million this opening weekend, which that's the estimates and whatnot. And the thing is, it had higher ticket sales for pre-sales than Black Panther did. Now, the theater I was at last night was pretty full. The 7 p.m. showings were all pretty full. You know, but they had a lot of them that were kind of like, but after when I left, there weren't a lot of people in the lobby. But then again, it's Thursday, before a holiday weekend. So people may not be going out because it's a holiday weekend. The reason why you want to release on Memorial Day is because it gives you Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Monday becomes like basically an average Sunday. People have the day off. So the numbers may not be the best from last night, but the numbers are going to come in over the weekend. I think they're going to do a lot better because they're going to pull in the 4-day, Friday through Monday. And that's what they're going to base it all off of. So I think it will do fine. Again, like, if I had time this weekend, I'd probably go see it again. I just definitely, I want to see it not in 3D. The 3D was okay. I just want to see it normal. So, was it hard to make a positive review of what? Of Solo? You think Disney will be fine money-wise? Exactly. Yeah. Okay, well, hold on, Gabriel. You can't sit there and ask me if I heard that John Campea is a shill for Disney getting paid $500 a month. And then when I ask for evidence, you go, oh, oh, yeah, it's not an actual fact. It was a guess. Dude, you can't do that, man. Like, you can't make those kind of claims. You gotta have the evidence, or you gotta like, you know, you can not like the guy all you want. That's fine. I like Campea, but there are elements of him that I do cringe at. As I'm sure there are things that you guys may like me, but there may be things I do that you cringe at. Where no one's perfect, but you can't make those kind of claims. Am I afraid to watch any reviews? So wait, okay. Afraid to watch any reviews for Solo to avoid spoilers. Should you watch? I mean, no, my review is full of spoilers. You know, I saw some people trying to, you know, tweet spoilers in the, someone said one of the spoilers in the movie wasn't a spoiler. Like, the big spoiler wasn't a spoiler. And I was in the process of saying something, so I caught it off the corner of my eye. And no, that's a straight up spoiler. Like, I legit lost my fucking shit when that happened in the movie. I like, literally hands over mouth, like, oh my God. So yeah. How much went into production for it? I don't know. Probably a fair amount. I mean, let me take a look here. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at Star Wars on Wikipedia here. Estimated budget. Oh, Jesus Christ. 250 million is what the estimated budget is there. $250 million. Oh my God. Oh wow. And a lot, that's because of the reshoots, man. The reshoots. That's what cost it too. Holy crap. That's not a lot. That's not a lot. 250 million. Okay, Gabriel, you can't trust. Look, if you're listening to like people like world class bullshitters or geeks and gamers, people that are just, they're gonna shit all over. Maybe not those guys specifically. I don't want to single them out. I don't know for certain. I know world class bullshitters like make shit up all the fucking time, right? They call me like they say I'm a paid Disney shill, and I guess they've amended that to now say that I'm just arrogant, which is fine. You know, if I'm a paid Disney shill, can they pay me more? That'd be fantastic, please. I have some bills to pay off. You know, I like to get my car paid off. So there's that, but ultimately, no, people on YouTube will say things for money, right? They will make things up for money. If a lot of what you hear is opinion is not always, you know, rooted in fact. Sometimes people get things wrong, whether it's intentional or unintentional. I don't know yet, but there are people out there that I've watched literally make up lies, in order to get people to click on something. And they believe it, because they maybe share a similar opinion. It's literally fake news. Comic Pro Secrets, wherever that fucking channel is, doing the video saying that the majority of fans are boycotting Solo, and it's like, that's not true. The numbers don't add up. You can't sit there and tell me that Rotten Tomatoes audience score, which is not a metric to be valued by or to be gauged by any fucking extent, and only having 12,000 votes is going to be the half of people out there don't want to see Solo. It doesn't work that way. Considering the fact that if you just do the general math, even if it's a high end, we're talking 1.2 million seats available to see Solo per screening 5 times a day, right? So just the general math on that is like, you know, 6 million people a day could go see a movie if they wanted to. And that's not 12,000 people, way more than 12,000 people. So you've got to really, really take this stuff with a huge grain of salt. Even if I'm, you know, reading off a rumor or a speculation and I'm talking about something, you have to still take what I have to say with a grain of salt. But this is the problem with this particular realm, is that you get cult of personality. People come in, they're just like, no, everything they say is entirely right. It's not the case. It's not the damn case at all. Well, here's the thing too. Here's the thing, Anthony. Red Letter Media is straight on. All they do is they know that if they negatively talk shit about a movie, if they just talk shit about a movie, that's what works well for them. Like, their Plunkett reviews are good. I will give them that. But their general commentary stuff, I don't pay attention. I unfollowed them shit a year and a half ago, if not longer. because I'm tired of the constant negative news. I'm tired of the constant negative coverage. I don't feel that they go into it with objectivity anymore. And if you don't go into it with objectivity, I don't really care much of what you have to say. And that has everything to do with the fact that, like, I think you have to gauge it piece by piece. And I understand what they're trying to do, but so many people treat them as being this internet truth, as being this internet fact. And it's like, no, it's an opinion. But you go, oh, but did you hear what Red Letter Media said? And it's like, well, no, what do you think? What did you see it? What did you think? Oh, well, I didn't watch it. Red Letter Media said. And I'm like, well, then that's not a valid argument. You haven't seen it. You don't have a valid opinion. And that's where we are right now. And and it may make me arrogant to say that, and I'm fine with that. But I feel we need to kind of make that, put a stance on that one. If you're going to sit there and say, this movie fucking sucks, and I ask you, did you see it? And you say, no, I didn't see it. And then I'm like, well, then how do you know it sucks? Oh, well, some YouTuber told me it sucked, so I think it sucks now. That's not the way to do it. It's their opinion, right? You should always take their opinion with a grain of salt. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I admit that. I went into Solo hoping to enjoy it. I enjoyed it. Is it a perfect movie? Absolutely not. There are problems with it, 100%. Some narrative issues, some pacing issues. The first act is a bit clunky. Sure, those are problems. But the movie was still fun, and still a lot of fun in my opinion, and I want to go back and see it again. But there are movies out there like The Last Jedi that I didn't care for at all. I didn't care for it at all. And again, huge Star Wars fan. And I was angry when I got home from seeing that movie. So it's like there are things there, but it's all opinion based, and you have to look at it from that particular perspective. But yes, Dark Beast, negativity gets the clicks. Like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, I was watching Geeks and Gamers yesterday on a live stream. I think he had like 1,300 people watching. And he was just like talking all this nonsense about Solo. Like, okay. And people just like throwing super chats at him, throwing money at him and shit. And I'm like, and I even commented, I said, oh yeah, you're really running a good echo chamber here, you know, and everything else. And that's just the way that it is. That's how these people are. They have their opinion, and they're entitled to their opinion, but because negativity gets the views and negativity will ultimately end up doing better, it's hard. And the big problem with running a channel like this, and you have to get eyeballs on the screen 100%. That is part of the job, but it's like, you know, phrasing something one way, but then still trying to find a way to explain it, is part of the game. But I see a lot of people that are just like, you know, no, blah, 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 it's all lame. And even the guy sitting next to me at Solo last night, we were talking about it, and he's like, yeah, I've noticed how many people have all of a sudden now started being negative about the movie. I'm talking with Jeremy Conrad, Manabite, yesterday as well. And he was all like, a lot of people that are talking shit about Star Wars, you go and you look at their channels, and or you look at their stuff online, and they never talked about Star Wars before they're talking about Star Wars. So it's kind of like it's kind of a cottage industry, and you know, it is what it is. So Rachel, as long as Disney has it at this point, The Last Jedi solidified it in the eyes of many people. The Last Jedi solidified it in the eyes of many, and that has everything to do with the way they treated it. And don't get me wrong. The criticism on The Last Jedi is like about 95% valid, right? In many cases. And the way they handled it was not good. The way Rian Johnson handled it, the way that, you know, it balked all criticism. There are elements there that very much harken back to Ghostbusters and how they handle it there. But at the same time, it's kind of like, it's not the same team that worked on this one. You know, so you got to kind of take it differently. I think assess it piece by piece. Rian Johnson is a hack storyteller. He's a competent director, I'll tell you that, but I like his directing, but I don't like his storytelling ability. Geeks and Gamers is a hate channel. Okay. You suggested EVS to do a stream. That's pretty funny. Filoni is a Game of Thrones man. He knows being the head of nation will not end well. What? So no, it's okay, Gabriel. It's fine. It's fine. You got to be like, you know, you can't go around and slander somebody because, you know, or libel somebody because you have an opinion. And like, I get it, man. If you like him or don't like him, it's fine. Did I hear about Robert Vargas attached to make a new film for Dark Universe? I did talk about that the other day. The standalone video segment comes out I think tomorrow. Wait, how the hell? What? Okay. How the hell did that happen? Okay, that's really weird. Give me a sec. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. All right. Sorry, something kind of glitched out here. Should there be a Maul or Vader movie? I don't. Again, I don't want. I don't want to say. I don't. I don't want. Maul. I think a Maul movie giving, would be interesting. If they take it a certain direction. A Vader movie, I don't think needs to happen. So I don't think we need. I don't think we need a Vader movie necessarily. I'd like to see, like we don't need like a Hutt movie. We don't need, the Fett one is interesting. I'm okay with Fett. Like an Obi-Wan movie would be pretty cool. I could do a Mace Windu movie. I'd be fine with that probably. I don't know. I don't know if that would be a thing. So, all right. Let's see here. Okay. So do I work out? Not as much as I should. What do I think if Disney bought Hasbro? I don't think Disney would buy Hasbro, to be honest with you. I don't think it would be, I don't think it'd be worthwhile for them. I mean, Hasbro just dropped $500 million for essentially the Power Rangers franchise. So Disney wouldn't buy Hasbro right now. It's not what they want. I don't think it's what they want. So, I think if everything would be, it's too much. I don't know. Was a Kenobi movie confirmed, or are we just hoping for a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B? They confirmed Boba Fett. People thought they were going to confirm Kenobi, but they confirmed Boba Fett, and they keep talking about Kenobi, so Kenobi could be working. I don't know. I don't know. Anthony, I think you asked me about Medusa. I think you asked me about Medusa and Wonder Woman. I don't know. I don't know much about the character. Do I see Disney going back to the Clone Wars era? No, I don't necessarily see them going back to Clone Wars era. I do expect them to take things from the Star Wars Rebels era. I do expect us to see the birth of the rebellion from a couple different areas. We kind of saw that with the show Rebels, and I'm sure we're going to see it with other things too. Kenobi's all but confirmed. Yeah. Let's see. You mean the Filoni versus Kennedy takeover? He's quite happy to see her fall on her sword. So as long as she doesn't fuck with his characters. Well, okay, Thomas, how do you know he's happy to see her fall on her sword? That I'm curious about. I know. I mean, I'm legitimately curious. Like, I don't know if there's any kind of internal politics or any kind of internal drama over that right now. I have no idea. But Filoni should take over Star Wars and let Kathleen Kennedy work on other things. Kathleen Kennedy's clearly not Kevin Feige, and they need to bring someone in. And Filoni would be the guy to do it. Filoni would return Star Wars to greatness. He would come in like a gigantic freaking eagle and and just come down and like swoop up and take it away. So, okay. Medusa would lose to Wonder Woman is bullshit. I mean, come on, Medusa deserves vengeance. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm sorry. I just don't know. Do I think Ewan McGregor will return as Kenobi? Yeah, I do. I really do. I really do. I think he will. Let's see. If the Fox deal goes through, hopefully we can see Star Wars Planet of the Apes crossover. No, I don't know. We don't need that. Apparently Comcast like upped their ante a little bit. So there was that. I thought it was really funny too, because I just quickly Googled John Campea to see like if he had been the whole shill commentary, and someone had just said oh no, John Campea has a video from last year saying like Disney just officially bought Fox, and I'm like, that wasn't official. Like, oh Jesus. So, but I think Ewan McGregor would come back. I think he would. I think it'd be cool if they went full blown like Western with it. If that whole idea would be pretty great. Like imagine him kind of like an Unforgiven type thing, right? Where it's like, you know, I'm out of the game, but they pull me back in for one last score sort of thing. Did I hear about Total Biscuit? I did hear about Total Biscuit. That was really sad. I liked TB. He followed me on Twitter for a short period of time at the end of 2014 in order to get on one of those anti-Gamergate block lists, and then unfollowed me on New Year's Day 2015. And that sucked because I like TB, and I was really sad that he passed. Yeah, Don Draper says here, I can't see Star Wars fans coming together on anything. It's going to be difficult. And I'll tell you why it's going to be difficult, because what you have now is you've got the progressives, or well, really in some respects, the regressives that are coming out, and they're like, anyone who criticizes the movie is doing it from a sexist or misogynistic perspective, which obviously is not the case. Everyone knows this is not the case, but that's ultimately what's happening here is people are making the claim. And so that causes further division because people are like, no, I just didn't like the movie. I'm not a sexist. And then there's the response back from the other ones that are like, oh, you totally are, because it's echo chamber versus echo chamber. And nothing of value ever gets done. What are my thoughts on a slasher villain cinematic universe? Ooh, I would, I mean, Freddy versus Jason was pretty fucking cool, man. I know the movie is 15 years old in like 3 months. And I don't care because I like the movie a lot. So there's that. Let's see. Okay. So favorite Spielberg movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, hands down. Which 3 Star Wars spin-off movies would I like to see? Yeah, definitely Kenobi is one of them. Where we are now with like, you know what, fuck it. I want to see a Phasma movie because I want her to actually have a story for me to give a shit about her character. I know there's the book and I will eventually get around to reading the book, but I just don't care enough about her. What happens if, and that's for a third, I don't quite know. I'd have to really think about it. You know, there's, I don't know, give me a Poe Dameron movie. Like, let's actually see him do a thing too. How about that? Well, what happens if episode 9 sucks? If episode 9 sucks, I don't know, man. It's going to be a bad day. It's going to be a very bad day. Would I be interested in Jack Reacher 3? 100%. Yeah. I like the first 2 movies. Let's see here. Mace Windu, a Star Wars story. It could happen. So, you've always envisioned a Boba Fett movie to be about him and other bounty hunters from Empire Strikes Back going on missions. Yeah, I agree. That'd be pretty cool. Him and Dengar hanging out, right? Who would be a fitting choice to cast as Boba Fett? I mean, he'd have to be, you know, he's New Zealand, so it's going to have to be someone who's of color, because they established that in episode 2. Yeah, I'm trying to think who it could be. For some reason, I immediately thought of Trevor Noah. I don't know why, but no, that wouldn't work. I'd have to think about that one. Are we going to see more Phasma in the upcoming Resistance series? Possibly. Yeah. We're going to. Yeah, we're going to see more from her. I don't know how I feel about that Resistance series. The animation just from that little thing did not look very well. But Filoni's behind it, so I think it will be pretty good. They had planned Freddy vs. Jason vs. Pinhead movie, but couldn't secure the rights to Pinhead. Well, don't forget they also had Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, which was going to happen and then fell through, and then they made a comic book out of it. Would I like to see a Rian Johnson directed Marvel movie? You know what? Yeah, I'll tell you what. I think I would, and the reason why is because if he didn't write it, and Feige is overhead looking down, like, you know, guiding him to certain plot points, I think it could be okay. I think he's a talented director. I just feel I feel like there's just a lot of stuff there. So, let's see. How about a film set between Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones? Like what? Like what would be between Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones? Like this is the start of the Clone War sort of thing? But the Clone War didn't start until the end of Clone Wars. So how about a film between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith? How about that? That would be interesting. That would be full on Clone War operations. That's what the Clone Wars TV show is. So I mean, like, you know, imagine that in movie form. Do I think the Predator remake looks like shit? I'm on board for it only because it's Shane Black. The trailer didn't wow me though. We needed more Predator, less quick cuts. So how about giving George Lucas a trilogy, not directing, just writing? Well, with George Lucas, he's good as a producer. He's good as a producer, but at the same time, he's getting up there, and he thought that fucking swinging monkeys in Indiana Jones 4, which by the way now is officially 10 years old, was a good idea. So let's and then also Red Tails. Let's not forget about Red Tails. So he produced that. That was in part his story. So no, let's not. I like him as a producer, but like you need to work with good writers. Daniel Logan is Boba Fett. Oh right. He was the kid who played young Boba Fett, right? Am I in any way anticipating the Rian Johnson trilogy? No, I'm not. I'm really, really not. Again, he is writing it, which is the problem. If he was directing it and on someone else's script, I would be okay with it. His Looper was not, it was an interesting concept film, but a terrible execution for a film. So I don't care about any of that at all. Would I be interested in a General Grievous movie? Maybe. Grievous is a cool character in my opinion. I'd be okay with that. Mr. H Reviews has been covering Predator from the start and it's not looking good. I'll have to check that out. Am I excited for the Christopher Robin movie? I haven't seen the new trailer for it yet. The trailer wasn't in front of it last night. They had the trailer for Venom though. They had a new trailer for Venom with the story. I didn't know Jenny Slate was in Venom. I have now lost a lot of. I like Jenny Slate, but not in like a dramatic role. She's got kind of that high pitched voice. And then also, what's up with Tom Hardy's accent? Like he's clearly a New Yorker living in San Francisco. Like I'm a reporter. It's like I can't do it, but Venom. I think Venom's gonna crash and burn. I think. Oh, you want to see teenage Anakin with his master Obi-Wan, one of the first adventures? Yeah. So let's see here. Okay. All right, guys, I got to wrap this thing up here in about 2 more minutes. So if you guys got any final questions, hit me up. I'll be back on, around Monday. I'll be back on, I should be back on around Monday. I think Monday's a holiday. We'll see. If I'm not on Monday, then I will definitely be on Tuesday. So, and then what comes there's really nothing opening up. I don't think next on the 1st. I don't know what's coming out on the 1st, but I know Ocean's 8 is on the 8th, which I might try to go see. I wouldn't mind seeing Ocean's 8 because I want to see what the hype's all about, but it could be good, it could be bad. So there is all that. Okay, where the fuck is that? There we go. Lucasfilm should make Old Republic canon. Yeah. Did you hear that Alden Ehrenreich actually said he wanted an Old Republic movie? Right? So there's that. Let's see here. You'd totally be down with seeing a non-canon one-off Star Wars Alien crossover, whether it be a limited comic run or a limited series. That'd be interesting. It'd make use. I think one of my cats is at my door. Yeah, everyone wants the Old Republic. I think that's going to be what, like, if they ever run into a problem with trying to keep Star Wars afloat, they'll be just like, hey, everyone, Old Republic movie. And everyone's like, oh my God, Old Republic. Oh my God. So, so yeah, there's I'll cover it as much as I can, and I'll always cover it from the perspective of a from a fan. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not, people call me a shill all the damn time. I'm not a shill. I just like what I like, and I'm okay with liking something if it's not the best thing on the planet. I go into everything wanting to enjoy it. I went into Ghostbusters wanting to enjoy it. I just didn't. I watched it again thinking I might have been wrong, hoping to enjoy it. This is how I work. This is how I operate. If I don't like something, I might watch it a second time to hope that I do like it. I got to give it another go to see maybe I wasn't in the right headspace at the time, but that didn't happen. But anyway, guys, that wraps up today's episode. Unfortunately, it wasn't a lot of news, but we had a good conversation, so I'm okay with that. I will see you guys on Monday. Have yourself a great weekend. Be safe. Have a good Memorial Day. Get wasted. Go see Solo. I'm a shill for it here. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.